Tom, final away game of the season. A word on the away supporters for Watford who've been incredible all season.
Magnificent, absolutely magnificent, and that comes from the bottom of my heart, the players' hearts, the staff, and the club. It's been real top support. We've not had as good a away record as we'd planned on having, or we've prepared to have, but they've stuck with us through thick and thin, travelling the full length and depth of the country all different days of the week and times of the week, and we fully appreciate the support right until the end on Saturday.
The numbers and the noise have been something else, haven't they? Considering what they went through last season and have been through for a while.
Yeah, magnificent. I probably won't think all the standout ones. Derby away was incredible. The support I got at Coventry was something that'll stick with me for a long time. And yeah, there's a couple of real standout days that are what you involved in football for, and the supporters have made that.
They need one more final performance, don't they? Just because of what's gone on now for the last couple of months, just to end the season with a bit of an oomph.
We all do. There is huge significance on this game on Saturday in my eyes, and we circumstances mean that we're a little bit up against it in terms of injuries and suspensions and lack of numbers and depth. But we know we have the group to go up there and put a performance in and get a result, and we need to react from Monday, because Monday none of us were pleased with how Monday panned out. Can sort of defend ourselves for maybe a few games we've not won where I felt like we've done enough to win the game, but Monday wasn't the case, and we're off it in a number of areas. Is
it too simplistic that it's rather fizzled out because the squad depth isn't as good as it could be? January, we've spoken about loads, but it always felt like this could happen.
Yeah, so we'll do a debrief on all areas of that: technical, physical, recruitment. And because it's been a few too many times it's happened now consistently. We've fallen away in January, and so yeah, we'll look at the physical and mental loading of the players. Do we take the times to get enough rest into the players in international breaks? How can we add to the January market to really bring that freshness and depth, which yeah, I feel like there's a lot of us that can debrief and analyse that to make sure that we're better positioned next January, and we don't fizzle out in the way it has in the last 8 to 10 games.
Because this is a young squad now because of what you've been left with. I mean, they'll learn from all this experience, but this is what happens to youngsters. They will make some of these little mistakes where you were saying about demanding more from them. That sort of comes to experience. And I was watching Sarr last night, and he's matured so much. You're going to get them at this stage of the season rather than a Sarr now. Yeah,
so that is the negative and the positive of this situation. Is the negative is that we all have to accept there has to be a maturing process that these young players go through. The 22 that travelled to Portsmouth on Monday, 13 were 21 or under. So the majority of the squad were under 21s on Monday. So we have to accept that Fratton Park is a very new environment. And let's not beat around the bush. Some of our more experienced players have made mistakes over Easter and the last few games. So I'm not pointing the finger. But when you have a real seasoned side like Portsmouth, and more streetwise, and they manage the game, and our lads, the positive to all this is our lads are another year down that line come next season, and they will have gone through these maturing processes that you have to go through. But you just have to look at the first action of the game at Fratton Park. Colby Bishop is a huge target for them, and he's got no one screening in front of him from a long throw. It ends up in a huge chance after 3 minutes. Now, they're processes that I can show you if I was in the team that wouldn't happen. And yeah, we just look like a team that had 6 under-21s starting on Monday. But I'm sure they'll all benefit from these experiences, and that's the exciting part.
Kevin, did you lodge an appeal? What's happened with that?
No, we've not. Kevin will serve a one-match ban and be available for the Sheffield Wednesday game.
And obviously you still have Sissoko suspended, but Kayembe is back. Anyone else available of the injured ones? Probably not, I would have thought.
No, we're in a situation with Rocco Vata in training yesterday as well. rolled his ankle, so we're waiting to assess that one. But yeah, it's been a challenging period. Let's not dress it up any other way. We felt we missed out on an attacking player in January, and we were crossing our fingers that we wouldn't suffer any suspensions or injuries, and they've all come at the same time. So if you'd have told me in September, October, when everything was rosy on the field and results were good, that you'd lose Chakvetadze, Barnes, Sissoko, Kayembe for one a game, then I'd be worried, because there's a lot of game changes in there. There's a lot of match winners in there. So we're finding other ways to try and win football matches, but I'm sure any coach would struggle to deal with the absentees that I'm facing at the minute.
Daniel Batman, he hasn't been in the squad for the last couple of games. Is he available?
No, he's suffering a little bit of soreness in his ankle, but then it's not the stage of the season that we'd prepared to risk that.
You'll go and play a Blair and Ishmael side. What was your relationship with him like? Would it be nice to see him?
We didn't have much, to be honest. I was over in the academy building, and as I've found out very quickly, you don't really have much time to give to others when you're in this role. So we had 2 or 3 conversations. Very respectful guy, really. Real good aura and presence about him, and I've really high respect of what Valerian's done. And played against his Barnsley teams and struggled against his Barnsley teams actually. And yeah, real good reputation in the game, and looking forward to facing him on Saturday.
Their form has actually picked up. When he first arrived, they really struggled, but he has sorted them out, it seems.
Yeah, the one thing you got to say about Blackburn is they've got a group of guys there who look like they'll roll the sleeves up and really dig in and make themselves hard to beat, and then that mirrors the season they have. They're a team that's, with all respect for me, overachieved, and that's credit to Valerian and John Eustace, and the group of players. They've got some real quality players in their team. I really like Tronstad and Travis in midfield, and they are where they deserve to be.
With 2 games left and kind of seeming like it's going to be mid-table, have you already got an eye on next season, or is it too early for that?
No, for me there's huge emphasis on Saturday. I believe these last 2 games, so that is where all the focus and attention lies. Now I'd be lying to you if I said I've not looked at the pre-season schedule and the assembly of a competitive squad for next season. That is always, there's always jobs to do in this role. So I have, but my eye is firmly on Saturday and getting a good reaction to Monday.
I think you're on the same number of points as Watford got last season. Will that annoy you if you don't better that?
Absolutely, and I'm annoyed already that we've not significantly bettered it, because we were in position to. Now, for some reasons that we spoke about earlier that are out of our control, suspension and injury have been a factor. How can we make sure this doesn't happen again? When going back to the recruitment, the physical load, mental loading, how can we get better? But keep driving, because a 6-point improvement on last season will make everyone a lot happier going on their holidays than if we plateau.
Good. Cheers, Tom.
You said in an earlier answer, you knew that we were coming into the second half of the season, maybe a forward light. But I also remember in January you were saying you were happy with what you've got. What's the difference between the two?
I think in January we all the transfer that didn't happen on deadline day, we weren't fully satisfied with what we had, and what happened, sort of a real chain of events that we couldn't foresee coming. Sort of after the red card, had a bit of turning confidence, and he's working really hard on the training field to bring that form back. That's seen him get double figures for this season, his highest goal scoring season, and then the injuries and the suspensions. The suspensions we can do something about. It's come from our own fault, but to not have Bar for hardly any of the period after the turn of the year has been a real blow for us. He's our match winner, our game changer, and I think you'll know better than me that it seems every game we play in has been decided by one goal here or there, and when the margins are that fine, I feel like the game management things that comes to the age of the squad, as well as missing one or two that can really change a game, has hurt us.
With that, you're right that the margins have been fine. Would you then, if you had January again, think maybe I do need a third striker option?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's probably the one thing that I would maybe I've showed a lack of experience is in that market, where I felt like we could. I'm an optimist when with my coaching head on, and I thought we could really cope with the two. And you don't foresee what if this happens, what if that happens. I saw the positives in everything we were doing, and I thought we could do it. Now we wouldn't have had the emergence of Mamadou, I don't think, if we had got a third. So let's remember that, and it is my job to develop these young players. And I don't think Mamadou would have flourished as much as he had we done, but for sure, I would have done things a little bit differently and got another number.
You looked really crestfallen after the game on Monday, and you said it was one that particularly disappointed you. How long does it take you to get out of your system?
Till the next game, I'd say. I'm always quite open and honest with you guys, or as open and honest as I can be, and you know when I'm feeling down, and Monday was one of my real low moments. The players have known that. We've addressed that this morning of why I thought we were so flat, and we got well beaten in a lot of aspects of football, and that was disappointing for me to see. After a period of strong performances, maybe not strong results, but strong performances, there's sort of giving you all, but there's doing absolutely everything you can to win a football game, and I thought we were off it on Monday.
You talked about the consequences, and I understood what you meant, but as a head coach, could you not create those consequences within your group and within the way you work so that those players do feel there are repercussions if they don't perform?
That is the culture that I would love to set at this place, where the head coach is absolutely the one that you're trying to impress, and there are consequences for not having that. That doesn't come with my ego, because I've not got one. But I think that is the healthiest environment, the healthiest hierarchy on the technical side, is that the head coach is. So when I said about the consequences or the pressures, then I have to create that, and we have to create that as a club. That is the be all and end all from a technical point of view. Now I didn't want, and the consequences, I didn't mean I want there to be real media scrutiny, or I didn't want there to be a real divide from the fans when there's been a poor performance. That's not a healthy football club, and that wasn't what I was getting at. I was getting at these players need to feel more consequences from a technical side, from myself as the head coach, on performance and results.
Is it too naive at this stage of the season to take on almost a fan's view and say, let's just have a go for it for 2 games. Let's just pile forward. If we're going to lose, let's lose 4-3 rather than a tame 1-0.
I think there's two answers to that question. One is that my matchday squad had 13 under 21s in, so I think we're pretty much there. And I know what the fans are getting at. Let's see Ramirez, Messiah Edwards, Sangrajka. But the other side to my answer is what I said post-match, and I would be damaging these lads if I put them all there at the same time, because it's, with all respect, it could be quite a bad first experience getting beat up by a really seasoned Portsmouth side. I thought we saw that in pre-season at Wickham, where we put all the young lads on at the end of that game, and it wasn't the nicest of experiences. So I want to ease them in, and I didn't feel like Monday was the right environment to do that, down to 10 men away at Fratton Park. But no one's more desperate for me that to get them on the field in the last 2 games, and because they deserve it.
I was referring as much to approach as well, that I understand why you can't maybe bring the young players in, but it's felt like, you say, these last few games have been narrow defeats and we've scored nil in a lot of them. is there a call with 2 games to go to go, right, let's just get the ball forward, let's have shots on goal, let's pressure the other team rather than almost sit back and defend a 1-0 defeat?
No one would want to get the ball from A to B as quickly as possible as me, but I think with the players we've got, that's not playing to our strengths. You know, Mamadou's 19 years old, and to pump the ball up to against 2 real experienced centre halves is not playing to our strengths. Rocco Vata is not playing to his strengths. So we are a team who likes to draw the opposition out and play through the lines once we've got them out there. Now, when you lose out from that game model, you lose Chakvetadze, Bar, Kayembe, Sissoko, then you're up against it. So I'm not a coach who's obsessed with playing football and short passes and low in the pitch, but for our way of play, for the personnel we've got in the building, that for me is our best way, and I just wouldn't be playing to our strengths by playing direct football.
Is there a way of doing the way you want to play that looks like there's more attacking intent or there's more forward thinking?
I feel like we're getting into the final third very regularly, and we've seen that, and then getting the ball from the final third into the goal or into a dangerous moment is. A lot of it comes down to quality, and like I said, the injury and suspension list is something that any club at this level would struggle to deal with, and we are doing so. Not saying there isn't ways that we can be better, and we must be, and finding ways to have more attempts on goal. But yeah, we've been struggling a little bit in that aspect. You know, I'm thinking back to the Plymouth game, to the Burnley game, where I think we've hit the woodwork more than any team now but one in this division. So there's a few aspects of why we're not scoring the goals we were at the start of the season, but I have to say, and it's easy for me to say, but I have to say personnel is a huge factor.